Hi there, everyone. Game Time, presented by State Farm, is on the air from Atlanta. I'm Matt Weiner. Great to see you out there. Here with Rex Chapman and Stan Van Gundy, a reunion of the 1995-1996 Miami Heat. We'll have more on that a little later. Also, Shaq talks about his other life as a DJ. In the meantime, we're spinning highlights. Game 2 of Paul George's new life as a Clipper with the Hawks in town. There he is.
What is that?
I don't know.
Plaid.
Do you think I could pull that off?
No.
Like Garanimal.
It's a lot of plaid. That's what that is. He had 33 in his Clippers debut on Thursday and picked up right where he left off, although he said he wasn't very good Thursday.
No, he said it was ugly, he thought.
Yeah.
But my gosh, I don't know I don't know that I've seen a guy come off of surgery, not spend much time with his teammates in live practices and come back more on fire than this guy is.
We should all play so ugly, right?
Yes.
How long do you think it'll take him to find his rhythm?
Yeah.
A few more games?
Look out when that happens.
He looks quick, lean. Man, I'm excited to watch this Clippers team.
And attacking the basket
Yes.
without fear.
Yes.
You know, you sort of worry about how that's going to be when you've had shoulder surgery.
Bullet pass to JaMychal Green. Gets it back for the three. How about a little defense from PG? Made his name as an elite two-way player. Trae Young, never saw him coming.
Give me that. And then you got to love this. Oh, give the sugar up to the big man running the floor. What a nice play by Paul.
That's how you make friends with your new teammates, impress your new owner. Steve Ballmer is serene at that point. He just all clapped out.
He's thinking about Kawhi. He's thinking about what this can be.
Well, because his team won by 49. They put up 150 points. That's 2 off the franchise record. They win it by a lot. And the Hawks will wrap up their 5-game Western Conference trip on Sunday in the same building against the L.A. Lakers. PG, 70 points, back-to-back 30-point games. First Clipper to do that in his first 2 in L.A., and here he was after the game.
I couldn't wait to get in front of this crowd. I couldn't wait to be home, play at home. I can get used to this.
In your first outing, you actually said you thought you played terrible after 33 points on 17 shots. You put up 37. That's 70 points through 2 games. Can you give yourself a better evaluation tonight?
I thought I was better. I thought, I had a better flow. My body felt better. My legs felt better. I was actually able to just move. I thought the first game, everything was so fast-paced and it was coming at me quick. Whereas this game, I felt conditioned. I felt ready coming into it. And, my guys helped me along the way.
Paul George is obviously not going to score 30-plus every time he's out there, but this is an unbelievable start for him in Clipper red, white, and blue. What can he mean to this franchise?
Well, maybe he can. Maybe he just needs to play every game in L.A. He scores 30 for L.A. every time he suits up for him, right,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think it's going to be exciting. It's what we talked earlier. Stan was saying, once you get Paul, Kawhi, and Pat Bev on this team, forget about the offense. That defense can be smothering, right?
Absolutely. And look, you've got the 2 best two-way wings in the league on the same team. And then Pat Beverly, we know, is a great defender and an irritant to opponents.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a fun team to play against. And then we know what the Lakers are doing defensively. So like in Atlanta, back-to-back in L.A., not a lot of fun anymore.
No. We always talk about growing pains in chemistry when these stars come together in a new city. What will Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and their teammates have to learn about playing together?
Yeah, that'll take time. It will. We see the Lakers going through it now with Anthony Davis. Just like we said with injuries, what gets you through that while you have time to build is your defense. The Lakers are already the number 1 defense in the league. The Clippers, I think, can battle them for that when they get all these guys back. That gives you your margin for error in games, that defense, while the chemistry is building, because it'll take time.
Paul and Kawhi have both played as the second best player on their team, the third best, the fourth best, and now, but they both can be the number 1 guy, I think. And the fact that you saw Paul these last couple of years playing alongside Russell, he can take a back seat. He's not ego like that. So I think it can work really well.
The defense is baked in just because of the players on the roster, and the offensive options with those 2 guys at the end of games was a lot to think about if you're an opponent in a playoff series, that's for sure. Paul George is the first player with 30-plus in his first 2 games with a new franchise since James Harden, who is in 2019 putting up historically significant scoring numbers so far. Only Wilt has scored more through a dozen games. That's Wilt Chamberlain. And Harden's 161 free throws so far is more than anyone has hit at this point in a season. Second night of a back-to-back for the Rockets. They hit Minnesota, and those neon green uniforms are theirs. James Harden apparently not distracted because he went right back to work.
I think that was part of the strategy. They thought maybe they could blind him.
Not affected at all.
No.
None whatsoever. Certainly didn't affect his shots per minute.
No. He had 18 points in the first quarter and finished with 30 at halftime. Playing without Russell Westbrook, sitting out the second night of a back-to-back. Eric Gordon's still out, Clint Capella out with a concussion. Minnesota without Andrew Wiggins out for personal reasons. Karl Anthony Towns trying to pick up the slack, and then it's Jeff Teague to Towns, who went for 27 and 15. Minnesota up by 3 at that point in the game. Rockets come back and outscore the Timberwolves by 18 in the second half. Harden.
Come on.
What do you do?
No, well, if you're going to play him one-on-one, there's nothing you can do. It's make or miss.
Mesmerizing defenders.
Yes.
They're just standing and watching.
And his handle is so clean. There's no mishandle of the ball. It's just pure beauty right now.
Just 49.
Is that all?
Yeah, 49.
He had a disappointing second half, though. After 30 in the first half, they held him to 19.
Houston's won 7 straight. Harden hit 16 of his career-high 41 shots. That's the second most in Houston Rockets history. He now has 7 40-point games on the young season already.
You know, we got 6-7 guys out, so it could have been an easy game where we just like chalked it up and you know, got ready for the next game. Like we wanted to come here and win this game, and we showed it.
How deep and strong this NBA league is right now, and especially in the West, how important is it to get these wins?
Yeah, very, very important. You know, we can't take any game for granted, and we showed that tonight. I think that first half we gave up too many points. Second half we locked back in, and they barely got over 100 points. So that's pretty much the goal every single game. And you know, guys didn't look around. We manned up and got a win.
You know, come playoff time, you need all your guys, right? But at this point, with all these folks missing, he's still putting up these kinds of numbers. This was his 72nd career game with 40 points and 5 assists. That ties Oscar Robertson for second all-time. Only Michael Jordan has more. And the point I was going to get to is that in the regular season, when you maybe don't have time to scout the way you would, this system, with that player running it, it almost doesn't matter who else is on the floor with him. He's putting up these kinds of numbers.
And he will continue to, because they're going to have the ball in his hands all the time. He plays every night. He plays big minutes. They're going to keep riding this. And so now teams are going to have to decide, are we going to let him get his and hope it's not enough? Or are we going to try to do something to take the ball out of this guy's hands? I think we're going to start to see more teams doing it for longer periods of time in the game, not letting him stand out there and do his dance on those isolations, but come and run at him and say, you know what, I'll take my chances 4-on-3 with the other guys. I've seen what he can do.
You know, I think back, Allen Iverson with that Sixers team years ago when it was all they had really offensively. James, right now, he's carrying much of this load. What I find fascinating is teammates loved playing with both of those guys. You might look and you go, well, is that a little selfish? Is he shooting? No, they don't think that. They're very good teammates. They come to play every single night. You know what you're going to get, and they're really easy teammates to trust.
No question about that. I mean, you see the production too. Hey, it's one thing if you're taking a lot of shots and you're not that good.
Right.
All right. They know who James Harden is. And you know what? These guys are smart enough to say, you know what? Coach D'Antoni's right. That's our best option.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, you mentioned the endurance, and I think that gets overlooked a little bit. He plays for the most part every night of the season, and it takes a lot of energy to get up 41 shots and be the focal point of an offense to the extent that he is. How hard is that to pull off on a nightly basis?
I wouldn't know, but no,
It's a fair answer.
Yeah,
most people wouldn't.
Right, but I do find it fascinating. He does. He plays every night. but he plays at such a deliberate pace. You can't speed him up. You can't slow him down. He's going to play exactly how fast he wants to play.
Just a phenomenal offensive force in the NBA. James Harden, another big night. Houston wins again. The rest of the night is on the way, including Luka the Don doing his thing against the champs in Dallas. Plus, Shaq stories, including how he spent part of his summer in the mosh pit